Hello, welcome to Finding Your Authentic Voice. My name is Sky Marcano. I'm a clothing designer, I'm a Huffington Post blogger, and I'm a motivational social media strategy queen. And you can find me at skymarcano.com. And today I'm so excited. We have Lisa Rehurek. Is that how you pronounce your name just before I go forward?
Pretty close. Rehurek. It's Rehurek.
Rehurek. I almost got it. I was pretty close.
You were really close.
Well, welcome to the broadcast. I'm so excited to talk to you today. I was reading all about you, and you're very inspirational. So this is going to be a good one, guys.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm excited to be here. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. So Lisa Rehurek is a business mentor, speaker, and international best-selling author. She is also an entrepreneur, a dog lover, and a total fun seeker, which I can see that online. Because we're friends on Facebook. She loves to live brave and bold and step into spaces that scare the shit out of her, which I also love that about people in general. Lisa has been featured as a premier success coach with eWomen Network, has shared the virtual stage with the likes of Ali Brown, Roger Love, and Margaret Lynch. You can find out more about Lisa at braveboldyou.com, and it's an amazing website. I recommend going there. So how are you today?
I'm fabulous. How are you? It's a great Monday with a blank slate for the new year, right?
That's awesome. Yes. I'm so excited about 2016, and I'm interested to know about what you'll be planning. So maybe that'll be my first question. What are you doing for 2016?
Oh, I'm doing a lot of really fun stuff for 2016. I have so I do a lot of one-on-one kind of strategy work, VIP days. I work very one-on-one with people, and I do some smaller programs, but I'm going to be doing a bigger group it's going to be still like a small group, but it's going to be a bigger impact. And I'm rolling that out in February. That's going to launch in February, and I'm so excited about that. And then I'm going to be rolling out later in the year. I'm going to be rolling out some retreats for people that are really wanting to kind of take their business to the next level, successful service-based entrepreneurs who are ready to kind of kick it in high gear. So those are two brand new things for me this year. I'm going to write another book. Just a lot of really exciting stuff. I'm going to get on bigger stages in my speaking. So it's kind of my year I'm calling it my year of fame and fortune.
Wow, that's amazing. I can feel it for 2016. I'm intrigued by, you and I think, have a lot in common. Just helping people like get out of their comfort zone, face fear, and just like go for it. And I really admire that about you. So I'm really curious about these VIP days that people talk about. So can you just let everyone know a little bit about what you would do on a VIP day for your clients?
Yeah, it is always different. So this is one of the things I love the most about the VIP days is that somebody hires me for a VIP day and it's a full day. Like if somebody can go for 10 or 12 hours, we'll go for 10 or 12 hours. And it's all about planning the growth of their business. So what's holding them, where are they now? What's holding them back? What is getting in their way? Those the fear barriers and those things, and then what exactly do they need to do to get to the level that they want to get to? And we map it out, and you know this about me, Sky. I'm very big on making sure that the business owner knows what they want. This is not about what everybody wants for us, not about anybody else's expectations, but what do you as the business owner really want? And that's the first thing we do. Like, what do you want? And then let's map out a plan to get you there. And so we roll up our sleeves, we go deep, we get emotional, we map out a plan, and they walk out of there with a really concrete strategy for the next 12 months of how they're going to make their dreams come true.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. Yeah, congratulations on helping people do that. I think that's amazing. And I love that you do that for 12 hours or however long it takes. I think that's awesome because I bet you guys come up with so many amazing gems and like inspiration. And yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, I can tell, I can go for probably easily 12 hours, but I can tell when my clients' eyes are starting to glass over and they're kind of done. And, I do love the way I do VIP days because I know some people set a time limit, and they say 6 hours, and it's like an hour here, and I know people teach that, and that's fine, but for me, I want to give, people pay me a lot of money for that. I want to give them the biggest bang for their buck, and so I want to give them everything that they can, and it's a lot of fun I love it when people can go that long with me, but it's a pretty mentally exhausting day, for sure.
Bet. Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
But I bet you when they wake up the next day, they probably feel pretty amazing, I would imagine. Yeah, so just a little bit more about your group program that you're launching in February. Is that online? Can people jump in on that online, or?
You know what? Nothing's out there yet. As a matter of fact, I've kind of been, nothing's out there yet, but it will be in the next 2 weeks. As a matter of fact, next week I'm going to be doing a webinar. That's not even ready to go yet.
Yeah.
But I'll be doing a webinar next week that kind of leads into it.
Nice.
So they can keep an eye out for the next couple of weeks to see that. And
cool.
Again, that group program is also all about growth. So if you're a successful service-based entrepreneur and you're looking to up-level and grow your business, the webinar alone is going to give you a ton of really great nuggets, but it's going to be fun. I'm excited.
Yeah, so they can sign up for that at braveboldU.com?
It will be there.
It will be there eventually, like in the next few days or next week or two.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, well, can you tell me the first time you realized you wanted to be an entrepreneur?
It's a little bit of a loaded question. You know this about me. I spent about 20 years in the corporate environment, and I just never even had exposure to the entrepreneurial world. I didn't know anything about being an entrepreneur. I grew up in a very traditional family, and you get a job and you work really hard and you save your money and you live within your means and you retire and life is good. And I just never had that vision. But I was in corporate positions that at the time were very entrepreneurial. I didn't see it at the time, but they were when I was really happy in my corporate career was when I was in very entrepreneurial positions. And, I got a promotion. I remember very clearly, I got this promotion, and it was the worst job I've ever had in my life. It was the best money, the best title. Everything on paper was really good, but I hated every minute of it. And that's when I started exploring, like, what else can I be doing? Because I'm miserable, and I don't do miserable, right? No miserable for me. So I kind of started exploring, and it's been more of an evolution than waking up one day going, oh my God, I need to be an entrepreneur. Now that I'm here, I know that this is where I was meant to be, but it was an evolution for sure.
Wow, amazing. I know, I think entrepreneurs have to stay strong. I mean, even in the last year since I've been doing a little bit of changing with my focus online and entrepreneurial journey, I've been offered like a couple of jobs, and I always think it's like a test.
Right,
like,
it is a test.
Like, will you take the job? So you have to stay strong sometimes and stay true to who you are.
So true.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree, and I think that it tests us even when we're not offered a job. It tests us because it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to go through some of the things that we go through, and it's easy to second guess yourself and go, "What the heck am I doing? Why am I here?" But, I think if it's in your blood, and I believe it's in my blood, and I know you do too. It's not a choice. Like, if I go back to work, it's because I absolutely positively had to.
Yeah, the last resort.
Exactly.
Okay, so when did you write your first book?
So I have 3 books that I wrote chapters in, right? Those kind of what they call anthologies. And I wrote chapters in 3 books about 2.5 years ago. It was 2013 when I wrote those. But I wrote my first solo book last year. It was April of last year. I just have one solo book, and I'm going to write another one this year, but it's just that one, and it was last year.
And the title of that book and where they can find it?
Yeah, it's called The Martini Mindset. And you can find it on Amazon if you just search Martini Mindset, or you can go to martinimindset.com/book/book, and you can get it there too.
Awesome. So what do you think your book will help people with the most, like if they purchase it?
I wrote the book because I am a very big proponent in us living our authentic selves and our authentic voice. And I know that term authentic is overused, and it's overused for a reason, right? Because so many of us are following a path that we think we're supposed to follow, either our friends, our family, society, whatever it is, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work when we're following somebody else's path. It only works when we figure out our own path. Like, what is it that we really want? And for whatever reason, we're like taught that that's selfish. We're taught that if we focus on ourselves, that we're being selfish and that that's a bad thing. And that's ridiculous. That's hogwash, right? We've got to know what it is that we want and follow that. That's how we're going to get motivated. That's how we're going to get up in the morning. That's how we're going to be successful. And that's how then we're going to give back to everybody else around us. So the book is really meant to encourage that and to give people exercises. It's really a very simple book, Sky. It's 52 different tips, and then there's what I call a shake it up activity for each one of them. And so it's meant to kind of get you in that space of being like following your path and doing what you want to be doing, and then taking it to the next level and standing in that greatness that you are, that each one of us is, right?
Yeah, I think it can be really hard when we have people around us or society sort of saying you have to get that job or you have to behave that way or whatever your parents ended up doing. You maybe think, oh, should I do what my parents, did when I was growing up? And I think there's a lot of guilt associated with it, and we need to let go of that. And I still struggle with it. I've been an entrepreneur for 13 years and I still struggle with like, oh, well, should I just get a job? And there's some guilt there that it's probably good to work on. So I think your book would be really awesome for that. That's great.
Yeah, it's interesting that you talk about the guilt, because there is, and it's even really subtle. We have self-doubt, right?
Yeah.
So there's this subtle self-doubt, and I know my parents support me 100%, but I know that they'd be more comfortable if I had a real job, right? So when self-doubt starts creeping in, or when business isn't as flourishing as I want it to be, there is that little voice that says maybe I should go back and get a job. Maybe my mom's right. Maybe society is right, whatever it is. And I'll take it even a step further in that it even within the entrepreneurial space, when you're looking at other people and you're saying, oh my God, look at what Sky's doing. She's so amazing. I'm going to do exactly what Sky did because I want the results that Sky got. And it doesn't work that way, right? Because we're not going to get the same results doing the same thing, because that's not our path. So in every aspect of our lives, we serve ourselves so much better when we are true to ourselves, when we can stay on our path and stop worrying so much. Yes, take the learnings from Sky and from everybody else out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Take those learnings and learn from them, but fit them into your path the way that will work for you and for your clients.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot you just said there. I think it's a really great little thing you said there. And if you want to rewind this broadcast and listen to it, I probably will. That's fantastic. Yeah, I believe, just finding that inner peace and that inner happiness, and really tuning into what lights you up and makes you happy. Not that, we can all have the privilege of doing that, but if you can just tune into it sometimes and say, hey, that made me feel really good. Like, I have a few clients, and when I work with them, I feel really amazing when I'm talking and sharing and encouraging them. And so I am, for 2016, that's sort of like what I'm focusing on, because that lights me up. That makes me feel really good, right?
Yeah.
So when did you start feeling true to yourself and brave in your business? So what I mean by that is I've met so many people that feel afraid to kind of be bold in business. So when did you, because you are pretty bold, I have to say, like with your marketing and all the really awesome pictures you put up and all the wording, and I love it all. It's bold and amazing. So when did you just let go and start being bold?
Oh man, this is so funny. There's actually kind of two parallel stories that were happening at the same time, and I want to tell you two very quick stories. But one of them is that I was diagnosed at the end of 2012 with a thyroid condition, and as part of that, when I got on medication and when we supposedly got it under control, Well, before we got it under control, I was losing my hair.
Oh, wow.
I was doing videos. Okay, I was doing a lot of videos for my business. I was losing my hair. And then once we got it under control, I started gaining weight at a super rapid pace. So if you look at my videos, they're kind of funny because my hair's getting shorter and shorter and shorter. I'm getting heavier and heavier and heavier. And it was a really scary time because I could have just given up and said, I'm not going to do this anymore. I don't want to put myself out there. And I think I did hide for a while. And in the time that I was hiding, the second part of the story is that I was also going to a lot of entrepreneurial events. And I went to like 3 or 4 of them in a row. And I very remember this moment because I was at the last event. I was at this big conference. And this woman that I know, I barely knew her at the time, and she stopped me in the hallway and she goes, oh my God, Lisa, I just want to let you know what an inspiration you are to me. You're so fabulous. And I just completely lost it, Sky. I broke down and started crying. And she was like, oh my God, like I'm giving you this compliment. Why are you crying? And I had just reached my peak of trying to be something that I wasn't, right? I was going to all these events. I was in complete comparisonitis. I was also having these health issues. I wasn't feeling like myself. And it just all peaked at the same time where I was like, oh my God, I don't even know who I am anymore. Like, who am I and what do I represent? And I just had a complete meltdown. And I remember going to a spa. It's one of my favorite things to do when I'm completely broken down, and just not thinking for a while. And I came out the other end of that realizing that I needed to get back to who I was. Who am I at my core? What do I want to stand for? Screw following everybody else's advice, comparing myself to everybody else. I'm a badass. Like, why do I need to be doing that?
I love it.
Going into that dip and coming out the other end going, oh my God, I am a real person.
Oh my goodness, I think that's so incredible. Yeah, no, I think so many people need to hear that. Like, forget all of it. Forget all the comparing. Forget it. It's who are you? Who are you? And be that person, because you're going to attract the right people if you're you.
Yeah, right. And why do you want to attract the wrong people? Like, it's kind of this really weird thing. I did a photo shoot the other day, and I was like, oh, I didn't want to do it because, again, I'm a lot heavier than I was. I'm a lot heavier than I want to be. But what I have to say to myself, Sky, is that right now, this is who I am. I mean, my weight does not define me as a person. Nothing has changed in who I am, but this is what I look like right now. And what the hell? I did this photo shoot. I look at the photos one time and I hate them, and then I leave and I go back and I look for my personality in them, and I'm thrilled with them at that point. And I think that we get so caught up in the outer appearance, and I think people still love me for who I am, and the people that don't like me because of my weight, go away.
Go away. Leave me alone. Like, I don't want to deal with people like that anyway. Like, who would, right? And it's beauty within, and you're a beautiful person. And I honestly, I've talked to so many women about this. When I'm speaking with somebody, a woman, I'm not looking at their butt or how big their thighs are. I am looking at their spirit, who they are, how they,
oh my God, totally.
It's so irrelevant. It's amazing that society has put us in this situation where we think people care, but really they don't. If you're having a real conversation with people, it's so beyond that. It has nothing to do with that. So
I totally agree. And again, if the person does care, why would you want that person in your life?
You wouldn't.
That's the kind of person I want to attract. That's not the kind of person I want to be friends with, that I want to date, that I want to have as clients. No way. So it's funny, this funny little mind trick that you just have to get really comfortable with that and say, you know what, I am who I am, and why do I want to be around the people that want me to change, and own that. And everything is so much easier when we get to that space.
Yeah, it really is. And we can become, self-obsessed too if we're obsessed with, being skinny. And I have to keep myself in check, because really at the end of the day, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So
no. And what's kind of interesting too is that this is the first time. So I hired a personal trainer about 6 weeks ago, and this is the first time that I'm worrying about getting healthy in just
Right.
a healthy way, instead of going, okay, well, yes, I'm going to work out, but what fad diet can I do, and how can I lose it quickly, and what can I do? This is the first time that I'm just like, you know what, that's not what it's about. It's about, just me getting into a healthier space, and now that my health is under control, I can do that, and I'm just doing it the right way for the first time probably in my entire life.
Like with the right mindset. I relate to that so much because for years I used to go on crash diets and I would be able to lose the weight, but then I'd totally pack it back on. Like it was so ridiculous. It would be like I'd be skinny for like 5 minutes. I look skinny for 5 minutes, and then pack the weight on it over the next year. And recently a girlfriend of mine, she's a personal trainer. She just encouraged me to do it for health. Just do it to be healthy. So you have a healthy heart and you have more energy, and that is what motivates me. It's not the vanity. It's really, but that took years to get to that point. And that's when I think it was about 3 years ago, I was like, I'm not going on any more crash diets because I think it's going to increase my likelihood of like gaining. So I just gave it up.
It screws up your energy and your metabolism for later. And, as we get older, like I know that screwed up my whole system, and maybe that's contributed to my thyroid issues. Who knows? But so I agree with you with the energy. And as entrepreneurs, we need that energy to stay focused, to stay true to ourselves. You actually need a lot of good energy kind of flowing through your body. It's really important for that. So energy is really kind of the key for me too.
Yeah, it's so cool to realize that. I know I'm really grateful that I finally don't think about all those other things. I just work out for health, and that's great.
Exactly. I know. I love it.
Yeah, that's great. Do you have techniques people can use to help them become more brave in business and life? Do you have like maybe top tips or?
So for me in the beginning, after I had that breakdown and I needed to kind of get back to who I was and figure out who I was. And I started this practice every week. There's 5 questions that I ask myself, and I'll give you a couple of them. One of them is, where are you not in alignment with who you are? And what's interesting about this question is that it takes a while to build the muscle, if you will, to even recognize that you're not in alignment. And so it's a question that you should ask yourself every week. Where did I feel out of alignment? And you can tell, you can start to tell, because you'll feel icky about something. It just won't feel quite right. Or you'll be pushing too hard to make it happen, to make something happen. If you find yourself pushing too hard, if something's too difficult, if something feels icky, you're probably out of alignment somewhere, and you need to be able to recognize that. And the more that you practice recognizing that and writing it down, don't just do it in your head. Writing it down is powerful, powerful, powerful. So start recognizing that in yourself. If you feel any of those things, stop and write it down. Even if you don't know the answer yet, write down what's happening in that moment or what you're feeling icky about, and you'll start to recognize it more. And then it'll become like this really cool habit, because all of a sudden you'll be like, I'm out of alignment. And boom, you'll immediately be able to get back into alignment. So that's one big question. And then there's actually 5 questions, and they can access this guy if they want. If they want to go to my website at braveboldU.com/brave, there's a worksheet that I did for myself, and you can get it for free. It's out there. And it's just 5 questions that you can ask yourself every week. And until you really get into the habit, now I don't use that worksheet every week, but I use it when I'm feeling something's just, I'm feeling wonky. I pull that worksheet out now. But I would encourage people, until they get to that point, to really answer those 5 questions every single week. And I think that'll help people a lot.
Awesome. That is so great. Sometimes it is just writing it down and asking those questions, and then you have all these light bulb moments after you put pen to paper. I agree with you on that. So I've really noticed your use of your authentic voice when being social online. So talking about your birthday celebration and all that amazing stuff. do you have some tips that you can give people for being more authentic online? And again, I ask you this because I have clients and people that I talk to, and they are behind sort of this wall, and they look at people who are a little bit more adventurous with their branding online and communication online, and they look at it as something like they can't get there.
Yeah.
So I just wondered, I think about this a lot, and I don't know when it changed for me, when I started to become more comfortable just putting videos online, and who cares, do it anyway. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm almost 40. But I don't know if you have some tips or a specific time in your life when that changed for you, and maybe it was that other story you already told us about, but...
Yeah, I mean, for sure it's part of that story, but it's also like, this is a really simple but yet not so easy thing, is that we have to actually know who we are, right? Like, that sounds crazy because of course we should know who we are, but we don't necessarily know that and know kind of what we're putting out into the world. And, we hear a lot kind of in the circles that we hang out in, Sky, that people will say things like, all of a sudden it's really cool to cuss, or, it's really cool to do this. And it's like, you know what, if you're not a cusser, you can drop the F-bomb or you can say shit or whatever it is. It's not going to land well. For me, I cuss. I don't do it strategically. I do it when it comes out and I'm passionate and I'm in the throes of a conversation, and I do that in my personal life too. But I remember having to, at that time of that breakdown, of having to sit back and ask myself a couple of questions. Number one was, what are my core values? And I think that we don't think about this enough as our individual selves. Like, what is it that you represent that you are not willing to compromise on? That if somebody calls me up and says, hey, Lisa, I want you to be on my podcast, but that person represents everything that I'm against, I can so easily say, you know what, thank you, no, it's just not a fit for my brand, and not feel guilty about it and not feel weird about it. But I couldn't do that if I didn't know what my core values were. So that's one thing, is really get to the core of who you are and what your values are. And then the other thing is who are you? Like, what? And I actually had a coach have me do this once, and it's a really uncomfortable thing, but it's amazingly awesome exercise, is ask people, hey, if you were to describe me in 3 words, what would that be? And, it's always eye-opening, and I like to do this maybe once every year or two, actually, as a brand exercise, is what people see in my brand and what I'm hoping to put out in my brand, does that match up? And I'm almost always surprised by one of the words, but most of the time they're right in line with what I want to be. And so I would encourage everybody to do that exercise. Again, it's really uncomfortable to ask people for that, but it's brilliant. And then you'll know that they actually probably see in you more than what you remember in yourself if you're not being authentic right now. Does that make sense?
Yes, I encourage everyone to do that, and I'm actually going to do that. And I'm tempted to ask you on the spot. I hate to put you on the spot, but what would your 3 words be for me?
Ooh, confidence. Number 1, confidence. I would say daring. I was going to say brave, but the word daring was kind of popping up for me. And what would be the 3rd word? Connecting.
Oh, wow. Yeah, see, I'm surprised by the connecting. The daring and the confident I get a lot. And especially in the last year, I've had daring, which was shocking at the time. I was like, what? I'm daring? No way. That's funny. But great. Yeah, so that's a great exercise. Really great one. So this is a little bit off topic, but I'm just curious, and I think you told us, what is your favorite thing to do to relax? And it sounds like the spa. But say you couldn't go to the spa. What would you do at home? Or
yeah, the spa is like my ultimate. I love to go to the spa. I try to go every quarter just to renew, kind of complete renewal. But on a regular basis, I love to hike. I love to get out in nature. I live in Arizona, so we have pretty good weather year round, except in the summer. But my ultimate thing, honestly, is to just stop working and play with my dogs.
Aww.
They disconnect my brain from whatever I'm thinking about. They crack me up. They're so lovey. They're so unconditionally lovey. And really, that's kind of my favorite thing because it's one of the only things that turns my brain off, that causes me to not even be thinking anymore, and it makes me laugh, right? They make me laugh because they're so funny, and who doesn't want more laughter in their lives, right?
Wow. Yeah. So it sounds like you would recommend, yeah, just finding something that helps you feel more present and in the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, I'm a complete overthinker. Like, I get in my head, I overthink, I push too hard sometimes, and so I miss out on my creative brain if I don't stop and pull back. And you've got to kind of find that thing that you don't even notice has disconnected your brain from thinking about your work. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. I just went through that actually because I was broadcasting on Periscope every day, like 1 to 3 times, because I was so into it.
Yeah.
And then I sort of started to lose that creative side and finding out who I am. And we do every so often, we have to do the work to check in and say, am I being authentic? Am I being who I am? Is this me? And I stepped back in December, and it's just been absolutely incredible. Just the inspiration, the ideas, and sometimes we do have to step back so that we can step back in.
Yeah, I love that you did that, by the way. That's really important, and I think we don't do that enough, to just go, oh my God, stop pushing so hard, and just let it kind of come back into a flow state.
Yeah, and I think that I knew people wanted to like come in to my scopes and learn things, but I was like, really, what is my purpose? Like, what does my audience want from me? And it really took quite a while of the whole month of stepping back, and I realized, and it's funny you said confidence, that people just want to help. They want help to learn how to have that inner self-belief. And so it was like a big moment for me when I was like, wow, I could really do something with just that one concept, helping people sort of get out of their comfort zones and have that. And when I say inner self-belief, I think it's like, yeah, that thing that burns inside you that's like, yes, I feel like I really want to do this, and I want to help people get there, because I think it takes a bit of a rebel personality to like, so if I can help people with techniques, I would be very happy doing that.
That would be amazing. And
Yeah.
you'd be great at that. I would love that.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited for the new year. So if you were like, if you can put yourself in someone's shoes and you were feeling afraid to be yourself online and creatively, what would you tell people in order for them to get over the fear of public online promotion? So like, if they're afraid of going on Periscope or making videos, because it's very competitive out there. Like, I feel like, video is where it's at and broadcasting's where it's at. What if you were really insecure and you don't want to be on camera, but that's sort of where it's going? How would you?
There's a couple of things that I do when I hit up against the fear barrier. The first thing is, and this does not work for everybody, this freaks some people out, so you have to know if this works for you. But for me, I need to go through the what's the worst case scenario situation, and I think through the what's the worst that could happen, and get down to the depths of what the worst thing is that could happen. And for me, there's solitude in that. For me, there's like, okay, knowing what that is, I guess maybe it's a control thing, like, okay, I have control. I know what that could be. That's not bad. I could live with that. Bam. So that's one thing. And the other thing is that, and I was introduced to this by a coach of mine, and when she first had us do these, I hated them with every ounce of my body, but basically giving yourself what's called a fear challenge. And this is like maybe just a little teeny tiny baby step toward whatever it is that you're afraid of. So if you're afraid to get on Periscope, I would say start small with videos that maybe you're not even sharing yet. Because I don't know about you, Sky, like the first video that I did, I remember recording the video, playing it back and going, where in the hell is my personality?
Yes, I know.
Yeah, right? I mean, there's so
You're just like rigid and up to not showing anything of, yeah.
Yeah, even though I felt like I was animated when I was talking on that video. But so the best thing that you can do when you're afraid is to take action, right? The worst thing you can do is just sit in that fear and let it stew. And I always say, if you're still afraid today, if you're still afraid tomorrow of what you were today, then you're doing something wrong. You're not pushing yourself. And it doesn't mean that you need to hit go on Periscope, it means you need to find some baby steps that are going to make you comfortable to grow yourself to get to the point where you're ready to go live on Periscope. I'm a pretty bold person. I mean, I started really early. I think it was June, the 1st of June, which was not long after Periscope launched, and I hit the button and I went. But not everybody's going to do that, and so you've got to find those little baby steps, but take action. Find something to take action with, and find an accountability partner that can help. You know, I always love to share that stuff when I'm doing a fear challenge and say to my mastermind partners, okay, you guys, here's my fear. I need you to give me a fear challenge instead of me trying to give it to myself.
Oh, great. I love that. That is so great.
Because somebody else is going to see something different, right? And we're going to hold ourselves back even more. So, yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. And I love that you mentioned not everyone is bold and willing to put themselves out there. So the baby steps is such a great piece of advice. Wow, I love that. And really baby steps, like, yeah, make videos just for yourself, just so you can watch them and learn from how you're being on the camera. That's awesome. Awesome. I love that.
Actually, and one more thing too, real quick, is if you have Skype, like hop on Skype and do, you don't even have to be on Skype with anybody, but you can go and test your camera and just start talking to yourself.
Yes.
But it takes a while to get used to seeing you on camera and getting, like, for me, my voice is one of those things that was like, oh my God, what am I going to do about my voice? It's awful. And so just getting used to hearing yourself, getting used to seeing yourself, getting used to your mannerisms, and frankly, getting used to how to hold your chin so that you don't look ridiculous. And you can just even do something that simple to get you a little bit more comfortable on camera.
Yes, and another point is if you do that and watch yourself on camera, you can actually tweak. So if you aren't happy with the way you're talking, you can do some voice work and tweak it a little bit so that you do end up feeling great about your recordings. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep, I totally agree.
Because I remember when I did a lot of camera work when I was in my teens because I wanted to be an actress. And I just did not like my voice. I didn't like the way I spoke. And so now I'm really aware of how I speak. And yeah, it's the process. It takes time for sure.
Definitely.
Okay, well, I think we'll wrap up this interview. That was like an awesome interview. Thank you so much, Lisa, for being here. And yeah, I can't wait to share this interview with everyone, of course. And again, everyone can find you at braveboldyou.com.
Yes, and I'd love to connect with you all. It would be great.
That's awesome. Okay, well, I'm going to let you go. Thanks again.
Thanks, Sky. This has been so much fun. I always love chatting with you.
Yeah, you too. Take care. Have a good week.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So that was Lisa, and that was just such an awesome interview. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. She actually shared some really, really amazing advice and tips, and I am actually going to listen to this whole interview again because I think she's just incredible. And I recommend definitely going by her site at braveboldyou.com. And I also wanted to let you know that in the new year, I will be connecting with new people. So if you want to work together and you're looking to find more inner self-belief, you can find me at skymarcano.com. And you can also drop me an email anytime. My email is skymarcano@outlook.com. So that's SKYMARCANO@outlook.com. I would love to connect with you. And thank you so much for listening today. I really appreciate it, and we will connect again soon.